Hello everyone, and welcome to Cassie's Kitchen Creations. I'm Cassie, and this is my favorite space, my kitchen. This is where all of the epic bakes, whether they're my original bakes or if there's a bake that has inspired me and I would like to see if I can modify it in any way, this is where all of the epic bakes, all of the magic begins, right? So today I'm going to bake a devil's food cake. I haven't baked one of these in quite a while. I have baked a chocolate cake, but I haven't baked a devil's food cake. So today we're going to do a devil's food cake, right? So before we get started, I would just like to say that I have pre-measured and sifted the flour. So you're going to need 3 cups of all-purpose flour. If you would like to use cake flour, as I always say, you can do that. Right? So I've already measured it and already sifted it. And also if you would like to add salt to it, you can add a ½ teaspoon of salt to your all-purpose flour. The only thing I haven't added is going to be the baking soda, and I'll add that shortly. Right? So I'm going to start by first coating my baking pan and having it ready. And I'm going to use my pan coat that I made. And whether you store this in the refrigerator or if you store it in your pantry, you need to stir it because it has sit. You want to make sure that it's still creamy. Okay? It's still creamy. Right? And then you want to just add some to your baking pan. And I'll just drizzle it in. And you can use a brush if you would like to. You can coat your pan however you would like. If you would like to use a brush, you can do so. And I do have several brushes in here. I just use my hand. And I feel like I'm getting a really good mix on it. So I'm going to, and that's the oven saying it's ready. So I'm going to just coat the pan very well. And again, you can do yours however you would like. There's no right or wrong way. It's just a personal preference. You can actually take the back of the spoon if you would like. And you can also stroke the spoon across the pan. But the objective is to make sure that you get a really, really good coating on your pan. And not just the sides of the pan, but also on your flute. And I'm going to use this square pan. I kind of like the cakes that come out. And I'm going to pick this up. And as you can see, you're going to coat the bottom of it very, very well. Now, seeing that this is a chocolate cake, I really don't want the white sides. So once I get this coated very well, I'm going to sprinkle some, instead of sugar, I'm going to sprinkle some chocolate. And coat it with chocolate as well. Just so that when the cake comes out, it's chocolate all the way around. It doesn't have any white color on the side from the flour. Alright. So that's coated very well. And I'm also going to place a piece of parchment paper in the bottom of the pan, because I don't want it to leak. And again, this is a personal preference. Okay. And if you would like to, you can also coat the parchment paper with just a little bit of the pan coating mix or spray, whichever one you're going to use. You can also coat it. Okay. Okay, we'll just close this up. We'll set it to the side, and then we'll store it here in just a moment. Now I'm going to take some Hershey's cocoa, and this is a special dark. And you can add as much as you would like. I'm just going to sprinkle some in the pan. Sprinkle it on the sides. And of course, I always go to my sink and like make sure that I coat it very well. You can use as much topping as you would like or as less. It just depends on the personal preference, as I always say. And I've coated it with the chocolate, and I'm only coating it is because I don't want the white flour on the outside of the cake. This is a chocolate cake. Plus, it adds a nice flavor to your crust on your cake as well. All right. So now we have the pan ready, and the oven is ready. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare our cocoa. So I need 3/4 cup of cocoa. And we are going to sift this. Okay. 3/4 cup, and that's just a little under a cup. Yeah, just a little more. I like chocolate, so. And if you would like to use the Dutch processed chocolate, you may do so as well. So now we're going to sift our cocoa. Okay. Make sure you don't have any clumps in it. All right, so we've sifted the cocoa. All right, the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to add to the cocoa, we're going to add 3/4 cup of boiling water. Right, and I do have the water here. We'll use the same measuring cup, since it does have the chocolate in it. All right. So then we're going to add the 3/4 cup of water to the chocolate. We're going to take our spatula and we're going to mix it. Right, we're going to mix this until all of the chocolate is dissolved in the hot water. Okay. Okay, we have everything as well. So we'll remove our chocolate from the spatula. Make sure that everything's in the bowl. We're going to set this aside and allow it to cool. And I'm going to just rinse the spatula right quick. Okay. So now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the baking soda to the flour mixture. Remember, it's 3 cups of flour sifted. And if you would like to add salt, you'll add a half a teaspoon of salt. And as far as the baking soda, we're going to add 1 teaspoon. And I'm just going to stir it in, but if you would like to whisk it in, you may do so as well. If you would like to whisk it, you just take your whisk and you just stir or just whisk it, and it whisks it in just as well as if you were to stir it, or if you wanted to add it to the flour as you sift it with your salt, you can sift it all together. Okay, that's the flour. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to cream my butter and sugar. Right? So for this recipe, you're going to need 3 sticks of butter, and you need it to be at room temperature. You just add it to your blender. First cream the butter, and it would help if I would plug up the blender, right? So I'm just going to put it on stir and just mix up the butter just to get the butter cream. I'm just going to cream my butter. The next thing I'm going to add is going to be the sugar. I need 2 1/4 cup of sugar. So this is 1/4. Now we have 1 cup. And everything don't stir, so it's okay to add it while it's stirring. And this is 2 cups. So that's 2 1/4 cups of sugar. Now I'm going to ramp up the speed so that I can actually cream the butter and the sugar. And as you know, I always say this is the most important part in baking your cakes, is to make sure that your sugar and your butter is creamed. It's creamed to where it's like a whip. It looks like it's ice cream. So this usually takes, depending on the amount of butter and the amount of sugar that you have, anywhere from, I always say, 4 to 10 minutes. It depends on the sugar and the butter, because this is 3 sticks of butter and this is 2 1/4 cup of sugar. So for this one, I will let it cream for about 5 minutes and then I'll check it. So I think on this one no longer than about 6 to maybe 8 minutes. So I'm going to place you on a brief pause while my sugar and butter creams, and then I'll bring you back into the bake once I'm ready to add the next ingredient. Okay, everyone. Now I'm going to scrape the sides of the bowl. And again, I'm going to flip it from the bottom to the top. I'm making sure that all of the butter and sugar is well incorporated together. that it's all cream, that it's uniform. Then I also release the cream, butter, and sugar from my beater. I'm just making sure that everything is well incorporated together. So I'm just going to put it on two and just let this cream just a little bit longer. I'm just making sure that everything is well incorporated together. So I'm going to place you on a brief pause. Okay guys, the cake has been removed from the oven, allowed to cool on a rack for about 30 minutes. And then I have placed a chocolate fudge glaze or chocolate fudge icing on the cake. Thanks for coming along with me on this epic bake. As always, treat others the way you would like to be treated. I will see you on the next cook, bake, no bake, prep. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Have a good one.